Wow, what a pleasure to be here. What a wonderful audience. So, what if I told you that you don't have to achieve anything in life? Not sure it would go over too well with such an esteemed audience of achievers, and might not exactly fit perfectly with the previous talks. And you'd probably call me a hippie and give my son some ammunition to laugh at me some more in my idealistic ways. But why not? That's the topic today? No? Why not? So I just ask you to go on this mental journey with me and see where it leads. And I remember actually being in a high school auditorium many years ago, just like you, watching a so-called motivational speaker. And he was throwing out all these platitudes about life is about experiencing and not every man lives. All these things we're always hearing. Seize the day. No one regrets what they've done in life. They regret what they haven't done. So make your life count. Make it count. Do something. Act. Do. Live. Right? We all know these. But my question is, what does that actually mean? Right? And what does it actually trigger in the person listening? I think it actually triggers fear. Fear of being inadequate, fear of not doing enough, fear of not living, fear of not being. Right? And sure, it gives you that jolt. After his speech, I'm going to go up to that girl and I'm going to ask her out, and life's going to be awesome. But then what happens? One of two things. She says no. One of three things. She says no, or you get paralyzed anyway and you don't do it. So you feel even worse about yourself. I mean, I'm not seizing the day. I'm not living my life. I'm a horrible person. My life is just crap. Or it actually works, and she says yes. And life is awesome for 5 minutes. And then you're on to the next challenge because you have to prove yourself again and again and again. And this is what society does to us. We have to do, push. The next car, the next person, the next this, the next that, right? We're never satisfied. And the fuel of that, I believe, is fear. And we just can't take a moment to simply relax and be, right? And this is the idea that I'm putting forward to you. And I'm not saying achievement is wrong. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But what I am offering you is that thinking you have to achieve is a dangerous idea. That I am no longer adequate. I'm not good enough until I achieve these goals. I cannot rest until I achieve these goals. I am worthless unless I achieve. That is the idea that I am challenging. And I think life is not just about achievement, but it's actually about living. And it's the fear of not living that actually gets in our way. So if we could just for a moment put down that responsibilities for this moment. Doesn't mean we can't pick it up again. But we can take that moment and just simply rest and actually feel what it feels like to live. Because I've got news for you. As long as you're living, you're alive. And I think that it's the opposite of this quest for experience, quest for running around, quest to do something actually makes us forget that we've got everything we need in this very moment to truly feel satisfied and happy. And all the wisdom traditions and sages and learns, they've taught us that in the present, life can be found in the present moment. So if we take that moment to just simply be at peace and realize the past is gone and the future is not here and all we have is now, then maybe we can actually feel our breath, feel the immense consciousness of our mind, go beyond the pettiness of all these little thoughts and just enjoy, right? And if you're thinking about dropping out now, please don't. My point is not achievement is a bad thing. My point, like I said, is the belief, the false belief of having to achieve. And until I achieve, I am worth something. That's what I'm challenging today. So I was born in Canada to Egyptian parents, and for the last 15 years or so, I've been living in Switzerland. And in 2016, I was watching the news just like everyone else, and I watch a lot of American news, and I was really starting to feel a lot of fear about the polarization and demonization and all the stuff that's being said. And especially, any type of minority, whether it's Mexicans or Muslims or Arabs or Jews, it's been a lot of diversity is starting to be looked at as a bad thing. And I started feeling fear of Americans, and I didn't want to live like that. So I asked myself, is there something that I can do? Is there another way instead of reacting in fear? So I had the idea, why not go to the United States and just approach random people on the street, see what they felt about the Arab world, the Middle East, Muslims, and if I met people that were afraid of those people, I offered them a free trip to Egypt, right? And I filmed this whole thing, and we made a whole documentary about this. And you can imagine, we went to places in the South, we went to Manhattan, we went all over the States, we went to a Trump rally in Louisville, Kentucky. And the people, the way they spoke to me, you got all sorts of people out there, right? But what I realized is that if I'm not able to listen to them, I'm going to have a big problem, right? And I realized the reason why I'm not able to listen is fear. And until I came to the conclusion that there is no dangerous idea, that I'm actually safe. And as soon as I felt that safety, I was able to listen to anything anybody said to me. And through that, I realized most people actually are not bigoted and racist. And going to a Trump rally in Louisville, Kentucky, actually restored my faith in humanity. Because even though I heard a lot of bigoted ideas and racism, very few of those people were bigoted. I met them. There were the bigoted people, and they spread hate, and there's no access to them. So I'm not saying they don't exist. But most people said it from a place of fear for their family. And because I was able to listen to them, we still were able to form a connection. We were still able, not to change each other's views, but we were able to connect. And I had 7 Americans, some of them believing in the wall and in the Muslim ban and all sorts of radical ideas that we would consider racist, come to me on a trip to Egypt where we paired them up with Egyptians. And this one idea of just following their journey and listening, it spread across North America. And that's what happened with the Pledge to Listen movement. And a lot of politicians and leaders have come on board, and celebrities have endorsed this concept of just listening and bringing us together. And it all came as soon as we realized we don't need to follow fear. We can actually follow peace. So why not react in kindness instead of fear? Why not listen? Why not just let our fears rest? The world would be just so much better. Why not have hope? Why not?